All right, day 29. Let's do it. Um, Quick review of day 28. I think I took a quick look through this. The West Coast is not too bad. California definitely could use a little work on. I usually do it too skinny. This time I did a little too fat. I think if I made Wyoming, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico just a little wider each of them, I think this would have turned out a little better. Texas would have looked a little less, been less of a giant beer gut here, a tumor of sorts. And then down the Midwest is actually the proportions are not too bad. I think I could have done a little better on Kentucky. Wasn't the worst, but East Coast not half bad. I studied a little bit more, and then we'll see where this takes us. Gonna do this for about 3 more days, end on day 31. Wonder if I'll get Alaska or California and maybe like Michigan and Maine right by then. Who knows? Probably not. But let's do it anyway. Get rid of that pencil. Trusty Sharpie. Let's do it. Here's the other thing. I wonder if I'm going to run out of ink in this pen here. One of these days it's going to happen. Wonder if it's going to be this one. It's not threatening to, but who knows? At any time it could give out. I think we're going to have Squashington today. Hopefully the mail will make up for it by making Oregon the right size. Washington's like it is shorter than Oregon. Like it is, height wise it's shorter than Oregon, but it's probably not that much shorter. So Illinois and a little more. We can do that as California. There's Nevada and part of Utah. Okay, so this time we're going to try to give the proper height to the proper width to Colorado, Wyoming, for that matter, Montana. Okay, that's a little better than yesterday. It's already looking better. Okay. Good stuff. Go. Okay, this border I can extend a little more just because it's a continuous border there. There's nothing that stops me from, stopping it wherever, I guess. Yeah, I think this might be a little big, but we're gonna roll with it. Eyeball in the 45-degree angle. Find out if it's too steep or not. It might be. You can always subtly bend it a little bit. I think it's a little too shallow actually this time, maybe. It might be a little too shallow. We'll see. All right, let's see. They say this part of this is really actually even part of this even is a trust exercise. It's like trusting my instincts a little more. I don't know if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't. All right, let's see. California juts in a little bit, and then it comes out, and then it does that. Alright, I think this border extends about halfway across the slanty part here. Get a little more height on Arizona. Not bad. Yeah? Yeah. Alright. This is going to be a disaster, actually, California. Because actually, I definitely made the top a little wide, but... Okay, I'm going to turn it here because I want this line to be vertical here for now, just so I can kind of see that this is getting ever so slightly wider, and then kind of... Someone texted me. I never get texts. That's not true, I get a lot of texts. Like this cape kind of comes out here, so gonna meet it right about there. A little gradual. Okay. Not terrible. I've done worse. Alright, let's see. Is it possible for me not to like Colorado and Wyoming? Because I don't like how I drew Colorado there. I think it's a little too narrow. Like, it's pretty hard to screw up those states, but somehow I feel like I very clearly did. If that's even possible. I don't know. It clearly is. Alright. Goal is to make these about the right width. So I forgot, Colorado or New Mexico's border with Texas is not like Texas and Oklahoma is not a straight line either. It actually there's a little dip that goes into Oklahoma there, so small mistake. It's not too bad. Okay, Oklahoma Panhandle, Texas Panhandle. Texas not as wide as Oklahoma, or not as wide as the jug handle on the side here. It's not quite halfway as tall as the left border on the right side there. So okay, now I think part of this might be just kind of eyeballing what I think the width of Kansas is. I think this is about right. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna try it this way this time and see if it actually gets us anywhere useful. Okay, that's enough. Stop texting me. Whoever that is. Okay, that's largely a guess, so we're gonna... This is actually not half bad. You know, the thing is, whenever I start Texas, it's always not half bad. It's never half bad when I start it. But it always seems to go to hell at some point, so... About coincides with that, so we'll go with that one there. Oh, and there's a lot of little bays that kind of go in there, little gulfs, or what you want to call them. They're not quite bays. Okay, it's about halfway across the... Maybe? I think that's actually pretty close. Alright, let's see if I can... I've done worse on that. That's not a bad Texas. We're going to play the eyeball game a little more here. Go halfway up. And kind of Kansas juts in there all of a sudden there. Missouri invades Kansas. Nebraska goes across. Okay, that's the Iowa border. go. I think Lake Pontchartrain is actually a little too small there, but this is not bad. Okay, so far so good here. Actually, I'm fairly happy with this. Famous last words, right? I'm happy with this. All right, let's start with Iowa here. Actually, I came up with a strategy to draw it at least reasonably well. I don't know if it'll actually work, or I don't know if it actually does work, but we're gonna go with it. Oh, I always mess up this northern border here, or this northeastern part. Every goddamn time. Okay, not too bad. I did bungle it a little bit, but all things considered, I can't complain that much. Alright, I think St. Louis is about halfway down the state here, so. Like there. Alright, not the best Minnesota. Go. Alright, let's see if I can kind of eyeball this here to there. Okay, not bad. Okay, then we'll stop there. Okay, Tennessee's northern border starts coinciding with Missouri's, and then it kind of steps up very quickly because that's the Kentucky has a little boot heel too. Then actually, I looked at I gave myself another cue for this Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky interaction. Kentucky actually, it kind of goes up in like 3 tiers almost, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. But basically, like, there's like a skinny part, and then like a part that's like, it's not flat on top, but it kind of, it's a squiggly river that kind of tends along the same line. It looks almost horizontal if you kind of look at it from far away. And then it goes up like 2/3 of the way across Indiana. So like something like I'm just gonna kind of do it here. I think that's the best way to go. All right, let's see. Illinois does like that, and then like another one of these little bends in the river. I think it might be a little tall, but kind of does this. And then Indiana kind of goes up kind of like that, and then Kentucky kind of jumps up the Ohio border a little bit actually, so it's not half bad. We're gonna allow that. That's probably a pretty decent border there. Okay. Figure out the height of Tennessee later. It's not a super tall state, so. All right, Pennsylvania. We're gonna try to make it the right height. Which is like 2/3 of South Dakota. That might be a little small, but if I'm being honest, I'd rather actually make Pennsylvania a little too small than a little too big. I think that it will, long run, it'll make Virginia a little less crushed, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here. So. There we go. That's actually probably one of the better Kentuckys I've done, honestly. All right, at some point I've got to bite the bullet and just do the South here. So let's do it now. Oh, things I forget. Things I forget. How far west the North Carolina border runs? I think it goes. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So it starts out, I believe, west of the Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky tri-point. So it's like here-ish. Kind of does that, and then it ends up like basically in the middle of this little triangle at the west side of Virginia. So it's like that. Okay, North Carolina kind of does that number there. South Carolina, there we go. Experiment. If I can do North Carolina properly here. Okay, so there's like 3 kind of points in North Carolina. There's really 4, but one of them kind of is inside, and then the one's like the alien comes out of a mouth, right? Yeah, okay. So the first one does something like that. It's gonna be really hard to do a state that small, or to do details that small with this pen here. It's much better than my old pen, the Sharpie, but it's gonna be pretty hard. So I might just have to suck it up on that detail there, but not too bad. Okay, let's see. Draw the point of Georgia there. Does a little Florida going up there, and then it kind of does that. Let's hope that I have about the right shape for South Carolina here. Not too bad. There we go. All right, let's see that angle, and then like that angle's like closer to that, and that angle is like a little more upright, I guess. Something like that. That's pretty close. Close enough. Good enough for government work. Let's see if I can get Maine right. This has been a struggle for me. So it's like there's like a little bit of almost parallel there, and then it does kind of get more gradual there. Well, this one actually keeps going up for a bit, like that. No, like that maybe. Steps out a little bit, a little more. Okay, not the worst Maine I've drawn. That is a state I'm gonna have to practice a little bit. Maine, California, probably even Tennessee. Actually, I'm gonna need to work on. A little surprisingly, maybe, I don't know. This might be one of the better UPs I've done, honestly. Alright, I think Michigan got a little fat. I'm gonna have to look at the width of Ohio and Indiana just to kind of make sure I get that right. I think Ohio, I don't know, Indiana might be a little narrower. Kentucky actually does look a little long if I'm being honest here. So, alright, here we go. Let's get Alaska. Okay, we'll start with that. Not the worst. It's definitely a little squish. I've probably got to make it a little taller, honestly. Okay, and then try to get Hawaii in here. Okay, let me think about this for a second, because I've been drawing it kind of nonchalantly for a while, and I actually looked at the islands again. I look at them almost every day, actually, the Hawaiian islands, just to see if I can get a little better at drawing their shapes. Because they're not that hard to draw, but let's see if I can remember it now. I believe what I gave myself was that the southwestern tip of the Big Island is not quite as like pointy as I was making it. It goes in a little further. It's actually not as prominent as that, I don't think. Okay, so small mistake. Molokai is kind of like that. And then Oahu, actually, it does something kind of funny. With that little bay that I've been giving it, it's actually not as big as I've been making it. So, and then these are two tiny ones there. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Well, a couple days left. I'm pretty happy here, actually. I think Tennessee looks a little short. I don't know. I've gotten really happy with how I've done North Carolina the last few days. That used to be one of my worst states Yeah, especially considering I lived there 13 years. Now it's actually become a pretty decent draw. South Carolina's gotten a lot better. Texas on this one's actually not half bad, I gotta say. Maybe it could have gone a little further south at that point, but yeah, Iowa's gotten a lot better. Wisconsin's gotten better. Michigan's UP is actually half decent on this map here, but the main part of it I think got a little too wide. Um, what else? No, overall I'm pretty happy on this one. Alaska probably could be a little taller if I'm nitpicking, but yeah, not bad. Thanks for watching as always. I'll see you tomorrow.